What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. And guys, I got another thing from Warhammer. This is another video by Baltimore. Baltimore's Guide to Warhammer. I love this guy. This guy is like an amazing storyteller, I swear. Like, you remember from last time I said this guy could read the damn phone book and it would be interesting, alright? So, this is Hive Fleet Kraken. Alright, so, yeah, I love the stuff he does about when he's talking about the orcs and the Tyranids. There's actually a series that he does called Cronin the Cunnin that I really love, but I don't do it because, like, every video that he has on it is, like, really, really long, you know, and I don't really want to bore you guys with something that's that long. But if you guys really want me to do, if you guys like these, and you want me to do one of those long ones, like about the orcs or something, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll go ahead and do it. You know, like, fuck it. You know, let's just see what he's got. All right, because they're like really long. I think the last one he did was like over an hour. Okay, so if you guys want to see that kind of stuff, let me know in the comments. Anyway, so let's get started here with Hive Fleet Kraken. All right. Work, you piece of shit. Okay, so let's go. Whoa! I love his intro. It's amazing.
Hive Fleet Kraken.
Kraken.
Welcome, gentle listener. I am Baltimore, your faithful servant, and I wish to introduce you to the forces, factions, and organizations of the Warhammer 40K universe, the grim darkness of the far future, where there is no time for peace, there is only time for war. And today, we shall be discussing one of the dire threats to the Imperium that come in the bitey Anashi form. An enemy that is not entirely as it seems, nor reacts in recorded and predictable ways. For today, we shall discuss one of the most interesting hive fleets of the Tyranid onslaught, Hive Fleet Kraken. And so, as usual, for the very basics, let us lean on existing wisdom. To quote,
To quote what?
Hive Fleet Kraken.
Oh, there he goes. Okay.
For more than 200 years after Hive Fleet Behemoth's rampage, the Imperium was relatively untroubled by the Tyranids. Though several smaller hive fleets passed into the galaxy in that time, they primarily vented their fury on alien worlds.
Yeah, so of course they don't give a shit.
Leading many to believe the Tyranid menace was all but spent. Nothing could have been further from the truth.
Yeah, if you know anything about cockroaches.
By early year 990, Millennium 41, a new Tyranid invasion had descended upon the Imperium, and it was named Kraken. Where Hive Fleet Behemoth had fought as a single massive wave that advanced and fought as one, Kraken was actually a series of smaller fleets that moved to attack many worlds concurrently. Not only did this compound the Imperium's difficulty in opposing Hive Fleet, it spread the shadow in the warp tenfold. Whole sectors were silenced simultaneously, isolated by the hive mind's choking influence. Only months after onslaught had begun, did accounts begin to reach the wider Imperium. Grim tales of entire sectors sown with poisonous spores, of hulking monsters bursting forth from the shadows, ripping and slashing with murderous claws. Reports filtered in of billions of creatures swarming across the face of defenseless worlds, devouring everything in their path. The tendrils of Kraken. Seen on a galactic scale, Hive Fleet Kraken was attacking across a front that covered thousands of light years, making a cohesive defense impossible to mount. The Imperium was forced to concentrate its forces on the most strategically important worlds, while others were evacuated or simply abandoned to their fate. For the first time, the Imperium was exposed to the predatory intelligence of the seemingly bestial race. Kraken employed cunning vanguard tactics that Behemoth had largely eschewed in favor of an overwhelming assault. Previously unseen bioforms stuck ahead of the Hive Fleet, assassinating key military and civilian officials while sowing fear and confusion across entire sectors.
Ah, very tactical.
There were some glimmers of light in the darkness. Several Space Marine chapters endeavored to save those worlds the Imperium had abandoned. Some, such as the Lamenters and the Scythes of the Emperor, paid for their boldness with heavy losses. Their once proud chapters reduced to a few scattered remnants, whilst the Knights of Eternity were entirely wiped out. Others carried the battle to the Tyranids in the manner that only Space Marines could, boarding Hive ships and blowing them apart from the inside. Yet, no matter the effort the Imperium made, the Tyranids were too many, and they drove ever onwards into the galaxy. Ichar IV. Fortunately for mankind, Hive Fleet Kraken did not remain spread out indefinitely, and many of its tendrils converged on Ichar IV, a hive world that some years earlier had been the site of a gene stealer infestation.
Ew, nasty little
Thousands
bastards.
of clawed attack beasts burst from the underhives in support of the invaders. Defense perimeters were quickly overrun by the scuttling horrors that had lurked patiently in hiding for so long. Ever more Tyranids made planetfall, not merely the termagants and gargoyles common to the vanguard of Hive Fleet Behemoth's assaults, but monstrous exocrines and tyrannofexes by the score. Worse still, giant bio-titans now stalked across the surface of the beleaguered planet. Hive Fleet Kraken had descended on Ichar IV with everything at its disposal. Despite its woes, Ichar IV was not
Tyranid
yet
Titan
lost.
classes are especially
Forewarned
creepy.
by the previous infestation, Marneus Calgar led the Ultramarines to save the Ichar system, inflicting crushing losses on the Tyranid armada in space, and in the claustrophobic environs of the towering Hive cities. Veterans of the First Tyrannic War scoured Ichar IV's hives in a series of close-quarters battles that lasted almost a full year. In a replay of history, Marneus Calgar faced none other than the Swarm Lord, a reincarnation of the same beast that had laid him low on Macragge during the final battle for Ichar IV. This time, however, it would be Calgar who emerged triumphant, slaying the beast in an epic duel.
And for posterity, here is that battle right now, as demonstrated by the great Brava Alpha Busa.
Round 2, Cockroach. We are the Ultramarines, proud sons of Gilliman. Whilst we still draw breath, we will know no peace. Whilst you exist, your pain will know no end. And once mankind resist, we raise our fists and we will fuck you! If you wanna make it a best out of 3, come attack Ultramar again. I fucking dare you!
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So that's kind of like how most people predicted that's how they figured that's how it went. Let's go back.
Without the Swarm Lord to counter Calgar's military strategy, the Ultramarines and their Astra Militarum allies finally cast the Tyranids from the world. Victory had come too late to save Ichar IV, which was now little more than a smoking charnel house.
Jeez.
A world sacrificed so that thousands more might endure. Perhaps worse for the Imperium, the hive mind absorbed the Swarm Lord's consciousness again, and having learned from its own death, its next reincarnation would prove the most dangerous yet encountered.
Yep. It just keeps getting stronger every
Splinter
time.
fleets. The scattered remnants of the Tyranid attack on Ichar IV fled towards the galactic core, driving well within the defense perimeters drawn against Hive Fleet Kraken. These Splinter fleets have, if anything, become an even greater threat as they feed upon unsuspecting and ill-defended worlds far from the major war zones. Running battles with the Splinter fleets have continued for many years since Kraken's passage, draining the galaxy's defenses against later incursions. It is doubtful if the true extent of the devastation caused by the Hive fleet will ever be known. Splinter fleets can comprise as few as a dozen Hive ships, but even a dozen bioships are more than capable of overrunning a planet and harvesting its biomass to become a yet greater threat.
Yeah, they just keep multiplying.
Some have become so large as to be classified as a new, distinct Hive fleet. Indeed, Hive Fleet Megalodon is grown from one of Kraken's sundered tendrils and continues to ravage the Imperium to this day. So too does the court of the Nephilim King. A splinter of Hive Fleet Behemoth continue to devour world after world. Doubtless, the Tyranids have learned much about the inner galaxy's defenses from these splinter fleets. Every battle the Tyranids engage in, won or lost, adds to the hive mind's ever-growing understanding of its prey. Was this the true goal all along?
Probably.
Who can say? It is perhaps preferable to believe that the hive mind had this very eventuality planned from the onset, rather than to entertain the only other possibility. That the hive mind has the strategic wit to turn even its defeats into victories elsewhere.
That's a possibility as well.
The lurking menace. An Imperium that had only experienced the sector-smashing battering ram of Hive Fleet Behemoth was caught completely off guard by the next stage of the Tyranid invasion. Where Behemoth hurtled on a direct path towards galactic core, crushing all in its path with the sheer ferocity of its advance, Hive Fleet Kraken employed a level of cunning and strategy that threw its opponents into terrified confusion. The tentacles of the Kraken attacked from multiple sides at once, outflanking and trapping its prey. As the fractured Imperium rushed its navies to defend one sector, another tendril of the Hive Fleet would sweep in to devour unguarded territory. Even now, scattered and greatly reduced in size, the Hive Fleet devours its way through the galaxy, having learned the tactics of its prey and formulating devious adaptations to counter them. Tendrils of the Kraken sweep towards worlds left unstable by gene-stealer cult uprisings and sprees of violent slayings, falling upon their vulnerable quarry with predatory cunning. Upon the battlefield, the Kraken's victims are cut apart by flanking maneuvers or scattered as chameleonic horrors rush from hidden lairs into their midst, slicing and tearing with razor-sharp claws. Lictors and gene-stealers are particularly favoured by the Hive Fleet for their stealth and swiftness, and broods of these monsters will be unleashed in hunting packs, slaughtering commanders and eliminating key threats to the greater swarm. Rarely will the Kraken engage a foe head-on. Instead, its questing tendrils of vanguard organisms will strike and fade, probing for vulnerabilities. Once such a weakness is found, the Hive Fleet will exploit it with ruthless precision, concentrating its swarm to harry and pull enemy formations apart, where one by one they can be picked off and devoured.
Dude, the way he talks is awesome.
End quote.
Dude! This guy's like one of the best narrators like ever.
Now I am a Hive Fleet Leviathan player, as I liked the colour scheme. But the Tyranids have such a wealth of diversity in their fleets that make facing even an identical army of differing hives a totally new and unpredictable experience. It allows for greater fun in the armies, and the games become far less predictable. Now Hive Fleet Kraken has the ability to not only advance faster than any other Hive Fleet, but also to be able to extricate units from combat, permitting all of their bastard bugs to really go to town, then to be able to simply charge back into the fray again with exactly the same unit. Terrifying, because it gives so much maneuverability to the army. It is these little tweaks that really do breathe new life into a range of models, meaning like Marines, Eldar, or most other armies, you can utterly change the way they're used by painting them a different colour. Which is pretty clever, really, as it means the same person can purchase the same models again and again, never
And get
moving out
different
of
units.
their particular wheelhouse, and simply paint them in a new scheme. Now, my only request for Tyranids would be a range of new heroes, or HQs at the least, and possibly even some conversion
Yeah, 'cause their
packs
only
to make
hero
Hive
is the-
fleet-specific armies and unique
is the
monsters
Swarm Lord,
for
that's
said
it.
fleets. We can always dream, I guess. I have been Baltimore.
That's one thing
I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction to
Zerg
Hive
have
Fleet
over the
Kraken.
Tyranids is that they have
If
hero
so,
units.
then please consider liking and subscribing. If you do, then hit the notifications button, as I would not want you to miss out. If you see the worth in what we are doing, then do also consider joining our Patreon, or giving the video a share if that is beyond your present scope. It would be a great boon. Now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.
I love it. I love this shit. Okay, so that was Hive Fleet Kraken by Baltimort's Guide to Warhammer. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I do. I love this guy. I love his shit. So, like this video, guys. Subscribe. Help this channel grow. And I'll definitely click on the link to the original description. Like and subscribe to Baltimore. Help his channel grow. I mean, he's got 167 subs. And, excuse me, hiccup. I think he deserves like so much more. I mean, this guy's like the storyteller or some shit. So awesome. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.